All right, welcome to Let's Go episode number next. Me and Olivia here, and this is our last episode of the year. Is it?
Yeah, because you're headed out of town, and Christmas is like in a couple days.
Christmas is Wednesday. Yeah. Christmas is Wednesday. What are you doing for Christmas?
So we don't do a huge thing at my family for Christmas because we do that for Thanksgiving. So for Christmas, we'll have some people over to my house, and Avery's going to fry turkey. Older brother, he'll fry turkey, and we'll just hang out. And yeah,
sweet. Did you clarify older brother just in case there were some single gentlemen watching the podcast? That's not a date. It's my brother. Well, I'm available, single, ready to mingle.
That's right. Well, that and like legit, because I have 6 brothers, I've literally had people call me and be like, "Oh, I saw you with so and so." I've had people, and it was a brother.
Yeah.
I had somebody call one of my brother's wives and be like, "Hey, do you know where your husband is right now?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's at Target with his sister." Oh, okay. Yeah. And so
I feel that though. Me and my sister in high school, and I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but in order for me and her to be able to go do anything fun, we had to go together because my mom assumed that we would always snitch on each other. When really we were just great partners in crime.
Yes.
But if you saw like me and my sister might actually go to bars together or something like that, we'd get in the door, part ways, and then rendezvous back at the end of the night, right?
Yeah. My brother, my little brother, Melvin, and I, we used to say we were going to have a shirt made that said like, my brother, my sister, says people, or Avery, when I went to run the ultra marathon, Avery goes and he crewed for me.
Sister.
Yeah. And so we're traveling together, and I'm like, okay, we definitely have to have a shirt that says that's my brother, that's my sister, So,
yeah.
But again, and I've got 6 brothers, and for my entire life, like they just treat me. I'm one of the guys, the only time they've ever treated me differently is if it came to dating. But even then, like, it is what it is. And yet, so like back, I don't know, like we camp together, we go places together, we travel together. And so I'm kind of always like that odd person out, or from other person's perspective, it's I'm like, this is my sister. I'm
typically always the third wheel there.
Yeah.
Like I'm with you, like I don't date a whole lot. So just go do things with my married friends by myself.
Right. Yeah.
Be good with it.
But yeah. And like I said, so I've always, but it's always been very funny where people will, and so for a long time I used to pick on my brothers, and I'd say like, the reason I'm single is because it's y'all's fault. So either everybody thinks, everybody thinks that I'm dating one of you guys, or everybody thinks that I've got lots of boyfriends, because, and then you look at my house. That's right. Look, you drive by my house. There's always there's always other vehicles at my house, right? And
I'm running some kind of a service, so is there?
But it's all my brothers or their wives or whatever. Yeah.
No. All right. So what is your favorite Christmas tradition? Go.
I don't know that I don't know that I have a favorite Christmas tradition. I have a favorite Thanksgiving because that's when our family does a whole big thing, but I'm not a big gift. So it's not my favorite tradition. My favorite gift that I ever gave somebody. So we grew up reading Lewis L'Amour books, and Avery's his sons read them as well. Like his second one, for anybody that reads Lewis L'Amour books, they're Westerns, and Jordan, his second to oldest son, he actually named one of his sons Jubal, which is a character in one of the books. But TJ loves Lewis L'Amour's. And so I had bought the whole thing, the whole Sackett set. And that was the same year he would have got his first vehicle. And when he got those books, I feel like he was more excited about those books than he was about getting his new vehicle. And I was like, okay, nailed it.
That's a good gift.
So I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't like getting gifts just to get gifts. But if I see something that oh my gosh, that looks like that person, or they would love this, I'd love that piece.
Yeah, I feel like we get so into just buying people gifts for the fact that you're supposed to buy people gifts. But hear me out. Don't buy me anything unless it's going to mean something to me.
That's right.
Anything I want, I go buy myself.
That's right. Yeah. Don't let me, here's a lotion thing, or,
don't buy me a gift to tell me, look, I would prefer, rather than you go spend $50 on something that's going to sit in a drawer that I'm never going to use.
And then I'm going to feel bad about not using it.
No, I don't even feel that. I just feel bad that you wasted your money.
Yeah.
I would rather you write me a handwritten card and go, hey, Harrison, this is how you impacted my life in 2024. I just want to thank you. Merry Christmas.
That's right.
I will sit there in gratitude for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Might even shed a tear over that. But you buy me something for $50 that I'm never going to use. And then I feel bad that you've spent your money and your time. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah, or like just buying a gift to buy a gift, like to check it off. No, but like again, now, and when I buy gifts that I get really excited about giving to people or that I've received, it's stuff that like I had an old roommate that she cracked me up because she always had gum and it was like a big deal. And then everybody.
I love gum.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you what, you can buy me gum because that shit going to get you. It told me.
Well, but everybody knew she had gum. So everybody was always like,
5 Cobalt. That's my gum selection.
So I was at some store and they had like gum that was like longer than I was. It's just, 6 foot of gum or whatever. So I got her that, but because that was so I like gifts that really, so if you're going to get me something because you're like, it's going to speak to her. It's going to, she's going to think it's funny or something like that. Otherwise, I'm just like, I'm with you. Like we're grown-ups. We buy our own stuff. With that said, because there's so many of us in our family, we don't exchange Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Because we grew up pretty poor. Now, growing up, we had presents and and then as my brothers got older, they would buy presents for the younger kids.
You make me envision a Little House on the Prairie where like somebody took like 2 twigs.
Yes.
And like made a baby doll and wrapped it in some linen and gave it some straw hair.
Yeah, like
and then wrapped it up. And like, was that actually a gift for y'all at some point in your life?
We had, probably a little sadder than that. We had like socks, an outfit.
Hey, I'm a big fan of getting socks for Christmas.
Well, now as an adult, yes.
Yeah, like socks and underwear. You mean I don't have to shop for that?
Yeah.
This is great.
We got stuff we needed.
I did just buy myself underwear.
Yeah. Good to know.
My old underwear was getting too big. I've lost more weight.
That's awesome.
See?
Yeah.
These gifts.
So, but yeah, so we did that now. And so, like, when we get together for Christmas, we don't give gifts. And then, like, because again, there's 7 of us. I know people will be like, well, exchange names. I'm like, do you know? Because there's 7 kids. I'm the only one that doesn't have kids. So do you know how many gifts somebody that had, like, let's say that you have 5 people in your family, you got to buy your kids gifts and then 5 more gifts so we just don't do that.
Yeah.
Now again, if you want to get the younger kids gifts or because I'm single, I'll get my nieces and nephews something, but we just don't, it's not about the gifts and they get it from their parents and yeah.
So our family's a little bit opposite. My mother goes all out. She is the cheapest of the cheap. They don't have money because they made a lot of money. They have money because they don't spend their money.
Hey, that's the best way to keep
it. It is. Ralph McCurdy, what's he say about money? It don't matter how much you make.
How much you keep.
It matters how much you keep. And so that's been the story of my parents' success. And Christmas is just not part of that thought process. I quite literally sent my mom a text. I was like, hey, whatever you're going to spend on me, just spend it on Addison and Clayton.
Yep.
I don't want anything. There's nothing you can buy me that's going to bring me happiness. Like, I'll see you at Christmas. I love you.
That's right.
And I can't do that. You know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Fine, Mom, socks. I'll take socks. I wear large. You know? So my favorite Christmas tradition. I don't know why I asked you a question and I don't really have the answer to myself. I think it's really just, I don't get to take much time off work, like truly off work, but Christmas to New Year kind of slows down enough for me to actually take 2 or 3 days off in a row where I probably only get a few phone calls a day.
Yeah.
So I would say the downtime and getting to actually be where I'm at for a minute is enjoyable for me because I don't get that. Even if I take off for a day. I took off a day this week. I actually went and watched a movie in the middle of the day because I was feeling burned out.
Yeah.
And I still, even though I took off, I think I still fielded 60, 70 phone calls that day, put out a few fires. We had a fire smile this week. It wasn't fun. Firing people sucks. So the downtime and getting to be present with whomever I choose to be present with.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite thing about Christmas.
Well, and as you say that, so I would say that is I didn't think about this, but since starting, coaching a few years ago, like the last 2 weeks a year, we're working to prep for other stuff, but we don't have one-on-one coaching calls and stuff. So I would say that piece, But I'd forgot about this because now the kids are older. So we have, again, I have lots of nieces and nephews, like closer to 20 than 10. But whenever I was growing up, I moved in with Chuck and Amber when I was in high school, an older brother and his wife. Well, when they had kids, and as I got older, I became like the older sister, even though it's just, or really I'm the aunt. And so until they're married, and one's actually living in France, but he's back home right now. Maverick and his wife are visiting right now. And Austin now has 2 kids, but all through their high school or, elementary stuff, I would actually go over there and we would spend the night and wake up and do Christmas with them. So I would say that was a really fun tradition. And now with those and TJ, which is Avery's 3rd kid, we always called them the boys. Well, now the boys are also Melvin's Melvin's 2, and that's Levi and Fox. And so I'll kind of do the same thing with them. I would say, that's probably, I hadn't thought about that, but my favorite tradition is like seeing kids get to like have fun and
I love seeing the kids enjoy it because it's magical for them, not necessarily for us as old people.
Yeah. Well, and then it's always funny when you have like, again, when I give presents, I like for them to connect. My favorite present that did not connect, Maverick, I don't remember how old he was, but he wanted a turtle. I'm thinking, I'm going to get you an awesome turtle. So I go and I get him like a really cool, it's about this big turtle and, all the stuff. So
what did he want?
He wanted a turtle. So this is
He wanted like a ninja turtle, like a doll?
No, he wanted one that you can put in water. I didn't realize that because to me, that's not a cool turtle because you can't do anything with it. This turtle, you can walk around on whatever. So I didn't ask enough questions.
Yeah.
The funniest thing though, so on like when we're opening gifts and I like give it to him, I'm so ready to see this kid.
You think he's going to land?
Oh yeah. I'm thinking he's going to be like, this is the best Christmas ever. Like my whole thing is like favorite aunt right here.
Yeah.
He gets it and you can tell his whole face was like, but
this is 5 times the size of what I wanted.
And he's trying to be polite because he's a sweet kid, but he's like, gives it to his mama, and you could totally tell it felt flat. And his mom's like, that's not what he really wanted. And I'm like, I spent $150 on a freaking toy shop. And
it's okay. I think my mom spent more. My mom has an African tortoise.
Well, and I'm sorry, that's what I got I can't say that word.
Tortoise?
Yeah, can't say it.
Yeah, it's this big.
Well, this one would have grown up. It eventually died because it went to their house and they gave it back to me, and then my nephew. It was a whole thing, but yeah.
Did y'all have turtle soup at least?
No. I would love a big one.
I will take you to go see one.
Okay.
His name is Noel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, end of the year. What is it that we've talked about? Some things that holiday traditions, holiday things that we enjoy. Do you use this time of year to, have you already planned all of next year out? Is this a time to reflect? Is there anything that you do this time of the year that you would maybe recommend to other business owners?
Yeah, no. So one of the things that we do that is super important, in my opinion, is we walk all of our agents and our companies through business planning. What are our goals for 2025? What do our finances look like for 2025? What are you going to do? What am I going to do? What are we changing? What's changing about our vision? What's changing about the direction from 2024 to 2025 that we're going in? Because things are changing.
Yeah.
In real estate market this year, we got 2 huge changes. Number one, you have the NAR lawsuit versus the DOJ, in which NAR lost, and now commissions are negotiated, buyer agent commissions are negotiated on contract. Everybody was so scared. Do you remember going through that with us for hours and months?
I kept telling y'all, like, you're making a bigger deal. It's not a big deal. It's y'all fine. And I remember, like, there was a couple agents, one that actually left, but, like, they were super pissed because I wasn't making it a big deal. But I'm like, it's fine.
We're going to have this conversation. It's going to be super easy.
Like, this is not new. It's just new to you.
Yeah, luckily, we're kind of in a soft market, like, where skills are soft here. So, like, you're not even really having to go do this big buyer's presentation like I do a listing presentation to show value. People are like, well, I have to sign to go see a house. Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody just starts to treat it as customary. You have the outliers who aren't following the rules. And that's fine. You're going to have that, right? But it's been okay. Fun fact, it didn't hurt us. You know what it actually did? It helped us. It was freaking awesome.
I've actually said for years that
The buyer agency is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you set the expectation, everybody understands what's what. Like, it's such a huge piece. And I think people would just phone it in because they didn't have to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful tool. So, but yeah, so you had that big change, and what else?
Well, so the next big change is coming January 27th. I'm gonna completely mess this up. TCPA, TPCA. I think it's all those 4 letters, just not really sure in the order. But it is the FCC's TCPA, TPCA rules are changing. And so this is going to affect my company more than it probably affects anybody else's. I'm the only company that owns a call center. Only real estate company in Northeast Louisiana that owns a call center.
Yes. So what?
And
yeah,
so
that's huge.
it's going to be huge. It's actually, so I've already got a game plan around it. I've watched legal commentary. I've watched what people's methodologies are going to be and their workarounds. I've got mine. I'm not going to talk about them publicly. You're going to have to figure that one out on your own.
Well, and so what he's talking about, so if you do any type of marketing to your customers and that type of thing, so it's the TCPA, you have to, like, somebody leaves their information on your website. You now only have a certain amount of time before, to contact them. If you are using an auto dialer and things like that. So if you are a business owner that does that, you need to create a plan, and they do go into effect January 27th. It reduces businesses' ability to collect multiple TCPA consent from a single customer. So definitely, so it's the FCC. What is it? It says the FCC aims to close the lead generation loophole by requiring marketers to obtain one-to-one consumer consent to receive telemarketing texts and auto-dialed calls. So make certain that that is in place for you.
Yeah, and so this is not just in real estate. This is in
every industry.
This is sales. This is insurance. This is car dealers. This is roofing companies. It's very relevant in pretty much all the companies that I own, outside of our food businesses. But yeah, I mean, like, I had to call the roofing company and go, "Hey, strategy has changed. Like, we're working on our call center for the for roofing company right now." I was like, "Hey, joke's on us. We're about to change some things," which everybody's obviously disappointed because it will. What this is going to do for us. Our lead generation methods are, in my opinion, we're just way ahead. And this is, rather than everyone else, like, here's us, here's everyone else as far as company lead gen. And what this is going to do, instead of them coming here, it's going to bring us here. And I'm guessing I'm going to have about a 30 to 40% shift in call center productivity, per hour. But what I've told them is, like, hey, we're going to have to slow down because it has to be one-to-one communication. We can't send mass texts anymore. We can't use $3 anymore. So it's going to take us longer to get the amount of contacts we need. So everybody needs to get ready. And this is why it's important that you know your numbers, right? We need to figure out what we're using our time for that's getting us the most leads and the most money, and the things that aren't being as effective. And then because now we're slower and there's no tool that can help us skirt the law, we now have to pay attention to what's the most effective thing for us and focus in harder on that.
For you, database.
Yes.
You would actually.
The thing about this, though, is we now have to re-consent every single person in our database to send out anything mass.
Yeah.
And so the first 2 weeks of the year, I've already let the staff know we are calling everyone in our past client database. We were asking them to sign a consent form for marketing, and then update our entire database.
Yeah, but that's the actually, again, it's kind of like the other. It can be looked at as a negative, but actually think about how much, like, if people don't want it, don't send it. We have to make it good enough that people want it.
Yeah, well, and that's why, like, events and database events are so important.
That's right.
Because when you're giving out food 4 times a year and giving out pies and you're helping the homeless.
Well, if you're bringing value, if I'm telling you stuff about stuff that you actually want to hear. So I've told people for years, your database needs to be so good that people would pay to be a member of it. Now, I'm not saying charge for it, but keep that in mind. Is it good enough that people would pay because it's such good value? And if it's not, then that's what all this is coming about. So if you have, because every so often you're going to have to get them to opt in. If you always have that option of them being able to opt in, you actually will have to have less to do more. So actually, I think you're going to find that it's actually can be a really good thing.
Well, once you get them into consent, right? So we go through our database, and I think in our past client database, oh man, what is the number? 3,000 probably ish. If we can get all 3,000 people to consent, now we can mass text. Now we can mass voicemail. Now we can 3-line dial everybody to invite them to our events. And so you're correct. By keeping a healthy database and keeping people engaged into our ecosystem, we are now effectively way more effective.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And so this kind of goes back to, I would almost challenge any business owner. And funny enough, it could be business owner, it could be personal stuff. This is the time of year to really go and look at what you're planning on doing next year and go, what is the most effective? So yeah, this law, it goes into effect. So people have to look at this. But what else in our business do we need to look like, or in our personal life, do we need to look at and go, what's the most effective? Is this, and sometimes it's efficient, but sometimes I think efficiency keeps us from being effective. Mm-hmm. So looking at all the parts in your life, where am I being the most effective? And identify those pieces, and then what adjustments should I make? Because I think sometimes in our goal to get bigger or more, we forget, we actually kind of hobble ourselves because we're not doing the most important things.
Yeah.
Because we just slide into easy. So I think, everybody that's watching this, and again, it's business, personal, financial, spiritual life, all of those things. What are you just phoning in? Mm-hmm. What do you need to just let go of because it's not effective? Mm-hmm. And even if you think you should, right? We've talked about that before. You should do this. You should do that. You'll have a shitty life.
Yeah.
So
shitty life. I love that saying.
So what is it that we're honing in to really be effective in our world and in our world right now?
Yeah. And that brings me to like some of the changes that have taken place in 2024 for us. My role has shifted, and I'm very thankful for that I've been blessed with the opportunity to, I'm not even going to say elevate, maybe just move into areas of my interest that are greater. I've been on thousands of listing appointments, if I'm being completely honest, like kind of ready for that next thing. And for me, that next thing was, I am still in active real estate sales, like 40 to 60 hours a week, where it used to be 60 to 100 hours a week. Now it's, I'm managing the companies. We own 7 businesses. And so that's about 5 hours a week. And like, all right, well, what do we do with the rest of the time? Yeah. It's not sit on the couch and watch TV for those of you at home. And so I'm spending about 10 to 15 hours a week actively investing my money. Now that's largely through real estate or business acquisitions. And Olivia, did you hear something really funny about my dollar per hour for each activity?
Okay. Lay it on us.
Real estate sales is my lowest dollar per hour.
Yeah.
By far.
Oh, yeah.
By far. Someone asked me, we spent some time talking about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. There was a young man that asked me recently, he said, when did you know that your purpose was selling real estate? And I looked at him and I just laughed and I was like, my purpose has never been and never will be selling real estate. It's simply the vehicle that helped me get to the next thing, to help me get to my purpose. Which for me is growing things, serving people, and helping them grow and climb that mountain with me.
It just happens to be in the real estate world. Yeah. Is where it started, right?
Yeah. And so now we've seen this power shift and this transition into what I feel is getting me closer to my purpose and more effective in my purpose. And that is elevating my dollar per hour through the things that give me energy. And so the majority of my income comes from the 10 to 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
The next portion of my income comes from my 5 hours a week. The lowest portion of my income is what I do for 40 to 60 hours a week. However, I will argue that a lot of what I do on that other, 15 to 20 hours a week, that is stemmed from all the work I did on the 40 to 60 to make that so much easier for me.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you pointed that out because it is the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of your time is where you make 80% of your money. 20% of what you eat is 80% of what you weigh. All of those things, right? And I do think sometimes we can get so focused on, without looking at everything, we can get so focused because it would almost be easy for you right now to go, oh, well, these are the dollar productive, so I'm just going to stop doing that. And I've seen people do that, not realizing.
Don't forget where you came from and what feeds.
That feeds that, right? And so I think that's really important when you make a decision. Now, there may be a time for anybody, that you go, okay, yes, now it doesn't make sense for me to personally do that anymore or whatever. Because I do think the opposite of that. Sometimes we stay into things longer than we maybe, again, I hate to say should.
Well,
but
if the
would be
company
the
was
best.
dead and not feeding the purpose,
Yeah.
and not feeding, it's almost like used to real estate was my vehicle. Now real estate is more like my gas, and the vehicle is now being an entrepreneur and an investor. And so I'm driving this really cool upgraded vehicle, but it's still being fueled by the real estate.
That's right.
That's right. And it's just been a wonderful ride there. Very, very thankful for that transition this year. I had an interesting conversation. One of my agents came over last night. I'm just going to go ahead and snitch on this dude because he pissed me off yesterday. All right. I get a phone call. So, I'm not actively taking listing appointments unless I am specifically requested, or if one of my clients call me, I will work them, but I am not taking listing leads from the team anymore. And fun stuff, I'm listing 1 to 2 houses a week still without taking any leads. So I'm pretty proud of that. So he comes over. It's Chris Rux last night. And I need to back up. All right, Wednesday night, he calls me and he goes, hey, I have a listing appointment in this town, which is 45 minutes away. And he's like, I want you to come to this listing appointment with me. And I was like, Chris, I'm not going. I was like, we have 2 listing agents. You call them. He goes, Harrison, they specifically requested you. And it's like $2+ million in volume. Really, really, really nice real estate, like crazy nice. And I was like, all right, look, if they requested me, then I will honor what I said. I will go. And so I go. And so Chris got separated from me and the listing appointment because we rode in separate vehicles to a place. And I said, man, hey, look, it's been really great meeting you, but may I ask why you specifically requested that I come to this listing appointment? He goes, what are you talking about? I didn't request anything. And I called Chris. I was like, you lying sack of shit. And he's like, maybe I just wanted to hang.
Yeah.
And honest, I was like, all right, look, yes, it was like 8 to 12 because it's an hour away, hour back, 2 hours at the appointment. It's half my day. Monetarily, absolutely worth my time with that much volume.
Well, and do a bit of spend time with your top guy.
And
next time he just needs to say, like, I'm asking because I miss you, dude.
Well, that's what I laughed about it. Like I wasn't actually mad when I called him a sack of shit. And then,
well, y'all have been friends since bartending days, so y'all joke around like that as well.
We've been friends for 15 years.
Yeah.
Or not say friends. At least we've known each other or been around each other.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so initially I was irritated. Like I was actually like, I had things to do. I've got stuff to do. And then I thought, it's not so bad that some of your people just want to spend time with you.
That's right. Yeah.
And so anyway, he came over last night and we were sitting upstairs talking. And I called him out and started laughing about it. And he's like, just wanted you there, man. I was like, no, it's cool, man. I thought I was irritated and I thought about it. And was like, it wasn't so bad getting to hang out with you for a few hours. And I said, man, I want you to know, I said, I feel like, and I said, this may be an insecurity, but I don't want any of y'all to feel this way, that just because I'm not actively taking appointments, that I'm over here being lazy. I'm not sitting in my house hanging out. I'm not just, yes, I do go to the gym in the middle of the day, but you go to lunch for the middle of the day with your wife. Like, I take an hour, you take an hour. It's not a big deal, And I said, do you know that I'm being very productive? And he goes, well, man, I know you're working. I don't think you're lazy. And I was like, well, I appreciate that. I said, but do you know that I'm being productive for the team? Like, what I'm doing still matters to you. It's still helping you. And he's like, explain that. And so I broke down everything that I do every day. And I showed him dollar per hour, my productiveness on what I'm doing. And I said, I've actually 2x'd my dollar per hour. And by the way, so like, I'm not exempt to the company splits. In fact, I have the worst split. 100% of everything I make goes into the company account. And if there is profit at the end of the month, then I get to take some, right? Mm-hmm. And before then, it's either a loss or I don't get anything. And so I am constantly dumping money and dumping production into that company account to make ends meet. And if there's something left, I get my share. And it was important to me. It's like, okay, well, I have to raise the gross of the company so that I can net more. How do I do it? And so I showed him, like, here's my production. Here's how I did this. This is how much money I'm making off of each of these files. And he was like, are you bringing in more money to the company now than you were whenever you were doing 100 hours in the company? I said, yes. I said, I doubled my productivity, Chris. And he was like, Thank you for explaining to me. Now I get it. He wouldn't think I was being lazy, but he wondered what I was doing.
That's well, or because
am I still in the trench with you? I think is a big question that top producers have whenever they swear their allegiance to you.
Yeah. Well, and are you in the trenches, but are we still in this together? And I think that's where it's so important that, we talked last week about Fierce Conversation, that book, but part of it, Susan Scott talks about not every conversation, what is that line? Not every conversation can change the world, but any one conversation could. And so I think that's so important about having conversations and being open and because you may be thinking this, they're thinking this. If you were to have a conversation, I'll be on the same page. So now, again, it's not about being lazy or this, that, or the other, but like what you're doing compliments me, what I'm doing compliments you. And so having those conversations, I think, is so important because we all do this. You take somebody, like in business, it happens, but even if you're in even in your personal world, let's say that one partner stays home and one partner works. It's very easy for the partner that works, that person that stays home, is never, they're not doing anything, they're just watching TV and blah, blah, blah. And vice versa, the person that stays home, they're like, man, you get to go out and you're not stuck here all day with kids or cleaning or whatever.
Or cooking, yeah.
And then but then if you ever have to role reverse and you go,
this kind of sucks.
They had to wake up at 6 and, get kids up and make sure they were on the bus. And then they spent an hour doing this and then they ran all these errands and they did this.
I'd rather be the person that goes to work every day.
Yeah. And, and then like I got off at 5, 6 o'clock. That person, then they were still picking up kids from the, and again, it's not about somebody doing more or less. It's just if you don't do it, you tend to think, oh, that's not a big deal, or that only takes a few minutes. And then you start doing it. And so it's having that conversation and making sure that everybody understands all the pieces. And then people tend to step back and go, oh, okay. Like, this is equitable. This is fair, whatever. And yet without those conversations, it's really easy to get sideways and not realize the impact of what somebody's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to spend time with your people. Find out what matters to them. Make sure that we're still doing this together. I think one of the reasons that I've been able to retain top talent for so long, top producers move. Well, hell, everybody, especially in my world, in the salespeople world, salespeople are always looking for the grass that's greener, and there's always a team leader or a company or a recruiter that's willing to promise them the world to get them to change over. And I have not lost any top producers to another company. Now, yes, I've lost some top producers to go start their own company.
That's right. Well, everybody has a different, different path and that type of thing. Yeah,
it's kind of a compliment, in my opinion. Like, hey, like I've inspired, I've encouraged, I've shown you the way. You decided to take it. I'm not upset about that. Upset about some other things, but not that portion. And so I haven't lost any top producer to another company. And I would say it's because we are pretty good at staying in the trenches with our people. Our number one agent, quite literally the only thing she cares about, like, she knows that I'm not actively taking appointments, but she sees that I'm still active in the company, and she knows that I'm working every day. And let's be real honest, she will come to my house in the middle of the day and be like, you working? Like, well, I have accountability too.
Yeah. Well, and also, and it's because like, whenever you were stepping out, it's not like you stepped out of the appointments and whoop. No, you made sure you have people in that place. So Sam had been in there for years. Then you brought in Kelsey. You've got admin in there, and then you worked with them every day for months and months and months.
Still am.
Y'all met like 9 to 12 every day. So 100% you're in there. And so, and yet the interesting thing is, so those listing agents, they know. But if you're say a buyer's agent, you may not, because you're not seeing
they don't send me as much, correct?
And so having that conversation, making sure that's the big thing. Like you said, spend time with your people. Make sure you understand what they're looking for, what you're looking for, and that y'all are a match. And I think it's huge to continue to do that, because sometimes you're not a match, and that doesn't mean anybody's bad or good. It's just now it's time to go do something else.
Yeah, there are some people who left the company, and I was like, you know what? It's fine. Like, they don't need to be here. They don't want to be here. I don't want them here. It was not a good fit. That doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Nope. It's just
it just means that we're not. Me and you ain't supposed to be together.
Not right now, at least. Yeah, that's just part of it. Yeah. So, but yeah. So again, I would say that, so we talked about, we started this conversation out about the end of the year. So make sure take time to plan out next year, have at least an idea of what you wanting to do next year, what's important to you. Talk to your people, make sure your people have plans for next year and what's important to them so that you can make sure that you're a match. And then I think, like you said, take some downtime, enjoy the people, enjoy your family.
Unless you work inside my company, don't take any time off. Work.
Enjoy your people. And then
What's that song? Something. Work. What's that song? Who's that?
Rihanna.
Is that Rihanna?
Yeah. And then
Does she love the way you lie?
that's a different song, and it's a good song, but that's not the work song.
I can't tell you what it really is. I don't know the rest of it. I don't know the song.
So you just totally messed me up.
Sorry, Eminem got in my head.
I know, I'm a huge fan.
Now I want to sing Godzilla. He kills it at the end of that song. It's so sick.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Of Eminem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was that was my jam when we were coming up. Like, that was...
Are you sure? I think it was my jam when I was coming up. I think you were already up.
No.
Speaking of old, it's Amanda Maze's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Amanda.
Yeah, the first message I sent today, it was like a nice message, like our broker trainer, because she helps like coach and teach and stuff. And then just like Amanda is just known as everybody's friend. Like that is who she is. And so I sent in like, happy birthday to our broker trainer and everybody's friend. We love you. Have a great day. And then I didn't remember how old she was. I only know because she's 10 years older than me. So I just add 10, right? And then I went to the gift section and just typed in old, and it was like a granny. It was it was 102 on my birthday cake, and she was blowing it out, and her dentures fell out on the cake. And I was like, "Yep, that one's going in company chat." Yeah, I'm probably gonna get hurt, but
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Amanda. Speaking of realtors, I want to talk about this for a second.
Okay.
All right. So this person isn't on my team. It's just somebody at another brokerage that I have a good relationship with. And we talk often. If she needs any help, she'll call me, and I'm happy to talk. And same for her. Like, I can call her about anything. But anyway, no, her husband makes homemade moonshine every year. And so
is this legal? Because maybe we should...
I don't know the
so
answer
maybe
to
you
that
shouldn't.
question. I don't really care. He a popo.
Okay, so then...
Yeah, he's got a badge. He's obviously legal. Cops don't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely not steroids. You should probably bleep that. Or can't bleep anything anymore. We have to edit.
Yes.
You ever notice the average bicep size of firefighters and cops? Unless it's like Carter, Texas, all natural. Yeah, 50-year-old men walking around with 20-inch arms. Yeah. Sure it is.
Yeah.
They're
just built that way.
Yeah, TRT. Yeah, everybody's prescribed these days.
There's a lot of downs, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, no, so she came by my house last night, and I was really scared because this person's kind of... I can't say her name.
She's not the one, is what we decided.
Yeah, like she has like gotten in fights at closing tables. Like, it's pretty funny. Like we don't like, if you want to know where you stand, you can ask her because she gonna tell.
Yeah.
Right? And she ain't holding nothing back. Well, I just think you're a bloop, And so for her to just randomly call me, come bring this to me and say Merry Christmas, I was like,
yeah, that's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. And so anyway, it's badass. We took a little sip of that this morning, and
A little moonshine.
for the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, I told everybody when they walked in today, I was like, look, I didn't really drink last night, so I'm making up for it today.
Yeah. But not really. You've had like a one.
No, I'm on 2.
Okay. So I think I'm the only one that didn't have the moonshine.
No, Connor didn't have moonshine.
Okay.
Connor had Cali sober. No one's surprised. Yeah.
So, all
I
right.
just realized that we just talked about drugs and alcohol for the last 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Stay away from drugs, kids. They're bad. No,
The ones that aren't
stay away from drugs.
The ones that aren't prescribed.
Even the ones that are prescribed.
I'm a big fan of the ones that are prescribed.
Nah, so all right. So now I'm going to be slightly hypocritical because I do believe in sleeping pills. I do.
Well, I think if there are things that you need, don't abuse things.
I think that
there are things that
prescriptions. I think we use drugs as a crutch today. I'm prescribed a lot of stuff. I say I'm prescribed a lot of stuff. I have been offered a lot of stuff, whether for mental health or just day-to-day living, things to make me go up, things to make me go down, things to make me go to sleep, things to help my anxiety, things to help depression. I would be a fucking basket case if I were to take every pill that a doctor has ever offered me. I think it's absolutely absurd.
Well,
how about mental fortitude, consistency, and changing your habits?
Yeah. Well, I think, so this is the difference is there is.
I already know there's a Karen coming into the comments today.
No.
I need my pills.
Well, I'll say this. Like, I take, ADHD pills. I take antidepressants. The difference is there's a difference between I'm run down and I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
And then I'm depressed. So I think the big thing is keep in mind doctors can only do with what we tell them. So you definitely work with a doctor that you like. My doctor, he cracks me up because I'm sure I tell him way too much stuff.
I think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to over disclose.
Yeah. And so, but over disclose. I've been with my guy for since 2007, I guess.
Yeah.
And now, I do think there is a place for what are the habits, what are you doing to help your mental, all those type of things.
Yep.
Those go hand in hand. So I don't think, it's kind of like, I'm a big fan of like with Adderall. I take Adderall. So often I see this with Adderall, especially as somebody goes, okay, I'm ADHD, here's a pill, and that's it. That is only one part of learning how to deal with and empower yourself with ADHD.
Yeah.
And so that's the part. I agree with you. And what the Adderall does for me is allows my brain to react in such a way that I can then do the other things that will help. Right. So
I'm not
it is definitely
I'm not singling anything out and calling it all bad. I'm talking about instead of, all right, you're feeling down. Have you tried going for a walk? It's beautiful outside today. It's a little cool. You're gonna need some sweatpants and a sweatshirt on.
I think that's the difference between like being down and then like clinical depression, right? Because if you're clinically depressed, go take a walk. You not physically can't, but you can't.
But that is my life, though, Olivia. Like that's something that I struggle with.
There's a difference between, and let me back up.
Yeah.
There's a difference between down and then clinical depression. I think
I'm still agreeing with the same sentence. I'm just saying that that's something that I deal with personally, and there's no pill that's going to fix it. There's a pill to mask it, but when sobriety hits, you're dealing with the same shit anyway.
Well, so I think to a degree,
that's true.
I think to a degree because there is, and I guess my thing is you should do both, but sometimes you need the pill to be able to do the other. Now, where I think that we also run into an issue, and a lot of times doctors get the bad rep on this, but like instead of like high blood pressure, well, here's some high blood pressure medicine. Well, it's because the doctors know we won't change your eating habits and we won't go for walks and we won't, you know what I'm saying?
That is ultimately my point, though.
I do think that you have to take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And but like I've got a brother that he has diabetes. He has done all the things, Chuck. He's done all the things that the doctor has told him to do. He's lost the weight. He's done that. But he has diabetes. Like he has to take a pill. Like there is no.
But if he's doing everything he's supposed to, now the medicine is in its appropriate spot.
All right. Now that I 100% agree with.
Yeah. So now I want you. So hear me out. If you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, I'm all for you doing what you need to do to make it through this life. Because God knows, I don't want you to go do something stupid. I want you to live, thrive, and win.
Yeah.
And you're never going to live, thrive, and win if you're living like a zombie. Well, if you need a pill to come up, but then you have to have a pill to bring you back down to La La Land, and then you have to have a pill to go to sleep.
That's right.
And then somewhere in all this, you now have to maintain stabilization through lithium and chemicals. Right?
Well, again, but that's where
you're being twisted 5 ways from Sunday.
Well, and so things can be abused.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. So like, let's take, let's say that you're on this medicine and you got you to here, and then you can do these things. So there are times to back off and add on, but I do think there's just a big difference between, everything can be abused.
Mm-hmm.
But like and so I think you have to just just like everything else, you have to be intentional, because on the flip side of that, I know some people that need medicine and will not take it because they grew up that's a crutch. And I'm like, but I wear
Yeah. But
eyeglasses.
again, I'm going to bring it all back to, are you doing what you're supposed to do in your personal life?
But if it's a brain chemical thing, there's no difference. Like I wear contacts, but I wear glasses. I'm blind as a bat. I cannot see you this close without my contacts. It doesn't matter how much somebody said, well, eat all your vegetables and do all your stuff. I still can't see, dude, without my contacts.
Right. Well, if
For
you're
some people, medicine is your glasses.
Yeah.
So I think that's so like.
I get all right. So I guess I'm gonna relate this back to my role as a business owner and someone who helps people in a production. Is I see so many people. It's not a small amount of people. It's a lot of amount of people. I would say it's a majority rather than a minority, or maybe it just feels that way because that's where a lot of the issues come from. And it's that people will not help themselves. They would rather blame everyone and anyone other than themselves and their habits.
I agree.
And then take a magic pill to stabilize them rather than go do any work and take responsibility or accountability for why they're not winning.
That's right. Well, and that's where I think it's interesting, because it's kind of like the extreme in anything, right? Where everything, not everything, but most things have its place. But if you're, because sometimes the places you're in the wrong seat and you're trying to make something work, and
you're doing
that's
somewhere that doesn't
why-
provide energy for you.
Yeah.
Like put me in a desk and ask me to do paperwork. You're going to hate me.
That's right. Well, and I think so. I think's where you have to pay attention to it. So, like, you could take a magic pill and do the paperwork, but you would still be miserable.
I mean,
so that doesn't
still
work.
a magic pill from Olivia. I can do some paperwork, but also, do you want to hear something funny? So I am ADD, right? And can absolutely go get Adderall tomorrow from a doctor, and it puts my personality in a box, which some people would be thankful for.
Yep.
But I wouldn't be natural. I would not be Harrison. Laser focused, speeding my ass off. Actually, it's so funny. Brain is speeding its ass off. Personality won't blossom. It cripples my movement. It's really weird for me.
Well, and that's even with like you take Adderall or any type of stimulant, anything like that, you have to find you may be, because I work with a lot of people with ADHD, and we do.
Connor's over here like, I can't take that shit. Yeah.
Well, no, I work with a lot of people with ADHD, and that's why I think the pill is only a piece of it, and it's only a piece for certain people. So, for instance, I've got a brother that's ADHD, but the pills give him nightmares, and it doesn't work for him. So we have to, you have to find something different.
Just go straight to the meth.
Well, no. But Vyvanse are a non-stimulant. They have non-stimulants and things to that effect. Interesting enough, but I have another brother that he needs the Adderall and he takes it, but he doesn't do the second piece, which is learn how to work with your brain, which is what I kind of wish he
He's not
was.
studying his element to go, how can I cope and win?
That's right. And so it's only a piece of it. So I think he leans on it a little bit too much. I know for me, and this is the interesting thing with me and Adderall, is whenever I take it, and I've taken it for years now, since my 20s, when I take it, my brain focuses and my personality comes out. I feel normal. Like, I literally can take Adderall and go to sleep.
Yeah.
So sometimes what I notice too is people aren't on the right amount.
And that's a guess and check thing.
You
Because
do
you know how
have
your
to.
body is going to react.
That's right. You have to, but that's why, like, you have to work with your doctor. You take this amount, you take this amount. Sometimes you have fluctuations, but I can literally take it and go take a nap.
Yeah.
I don't speed on it. I feel quote unquote normal on it when I don't take Adderall. And
Is it because you're addicted to meth?
maybe. But have you ever, so you've talked to my mama, and I love my mama, and I've had this conversation with her. I would never say anything outside of talking to her. But my mom, when she talks, and it's funny, but like, you'll talk to her and I'll have to say, okay, mama, I think you started this conversation in your head before with me, because I have no idea what you're talking about. And what it is her brain's already like, y'all started talking about this. She went over here and she's talking about this and then this. And you're like, what? I sound, when I don't take my Adderall, I cannot function. I can't have a conversation with somebody.
So you miss and people without your Adderall?
So I didn't, notice, like, I already have a challenge saying, I do that a whole lot more when I don't take it. And it really is, it's hard for me to go, like, complete a whole, like, a whole line. So, that sounds terrible. Not that kind of line.
Olivia's doing lines.
A thought. And so I think that's the difference is so like to me, and I actually had a doctor say this to me and I thought this was pretty accurate. If you are on Adderall or any type of stimulant for ADHD and you feel like you're speeding, it's probably like not the right kind because I don't feel like I'm speeding with my Adderall.
Yeah. So it's
And I
not,
take like the maximum dose.
it's not the
So I
speeding
think
that
that's the
bothers me.
difference.
It's my personality is pressed into a box.
Yeah.
And I don't like it's actually like a pressure in my brain almost where I can feel like my body, my mind wants to go somewhere and the pill just goes, nope, get back in there. And I can feel that.
That's
It's
right.
an internal war inside me and then my mouth won't open.
That's right. Well, and so that's where it was either not everybody
But we're doing that to kids
well,
that can't express themselves or tell you how they're feeling or know what their true personality is. They haven't even developed into their true self yet.
well, and so this is the thing because we tend to think of and from a girl's perspective. So most girls grow up, they're not lots of girls are underdiagnosed for ADHD because we exhibit our symptoms are different than boys. People, when you think of kids with ADHD, you tend to think about boys that can't sit still. Well, I've always been able to sit still. The challenge is it's the internal where it's going bing, 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 bing. So I was good grades, good things like that, but we're not, again, think about it as glasses, not diagnosing somebody with ADHD at an early age. And again, it may or may not be medicine, right? You have to play around with what works for the kids. And
tried first, yeah.
well, and in addition to, don't just give a pill and be done. But here's a pill, and these things are the ways that you learn to do things with this. So whenever we did so we tend to think ADHD and that's it. Well, as a girl, undiagnosed ADHD, and boys too, but it actually impacts other things because if you always have somebody calling you or saying that you're lazy or you can't focus or you did this or that, it starts jacking with your self-confidence. And so a lot of times people don't realize that, or like I've got a niece that I think, I'm not a doctor, I think she probably has maybe a little autistic or maybe ADHD, super smart. So her school's and behaves. So her school's not going to, do anything. Like she's fine in that aspect, but she's always in trouble because she like hugs people too tight. And when I say that, like, I mean, I'm a big girl and she can hug me. And I'm like, I think you just broke my back, but it's a sensory thing, I think.
Well, she come give me a hug like when I'm like this front of that.
Yes.
Hit me a squeeze.
But and then she's too rough. It shows up in other ways for her, which impacts her sociability. So so I'm not saying it's a pill, but if you know that, then you can start working with those things, not from you're in trouble because you're so rough.
Yeah.
Or you're in trouble because you need to spin, or you're in trouble for this or that. So I think that's where, to me, looking at all those pieces, it's not to do it to slap a label and go, oh, you're ADHD and we're done with you. It's how do we now work with that behavioral style and how do we help them become who they can become?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, everyone just got, 15 minutes of unsolicited and unprofessional medical advice. You should not take any of it. This is strictly personal opinions. Olivia actually does study
I actually do study it. I just finished a course on this and everything, but
she actually studies coaching and solutions for ADHD and ADD. So you can listen to some of her. Everything that I said was an opinion and likely not even true. It's just my rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah. But ultimately, it's just like, so whether it's something like that or just you're in the wrong role, like if you're not having the success that you want for your life, keep asking questions.
Yeah.
People have gone before you. It may be something that surprises you. It may be something different. Keep asking questions. Keep looking. Don't just go, oh, well, that's how life is. Just keep asking. Just keep doing different questions. You're going to have ups and downs in your world, relationships and all that.
You don't know when you're going to find your purpose.
That's right.
You have no idea. It's just going to happen. Stay faithful. Keep your hands working. Keep moving. Keep asking questions. Keep networking. Keep finding people. That's how you're going to win in this life anyway. That old school cliche, your network is your net worth, is not a cliche
It's
at
a
all.
cliche for a reason.
But I wouldn't even call it a cliche. It is a biblical truth. I mean, Jesus didn't put it in the Bible, but I'm telling you right now that if I wrote,
so what is it? So Ralph, we talked about Ralph McCurdy earlier. He actually had a book together. Somebody put a book together, Ralphisms. So this,
I was just about to say that word. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay.
This is going to be a Harrisonism.
Yeah. Yeah. Your network is your net worth. It is an irrefutable fact of business. A fun story. All right. So there is a big time, I actually meant to tell you guys this. There is a big time YouTube social influencer. I don't know his net worth. I'm going to guess 100+ million. He hangs out with billionaires. That person is likely going to be in Northeast Louisiana within the next year. And I may actually get to sit down. We may get to sit down with that man in this room possibly, or even at the studio, because he's interested in the area and what's going on in it. He's got some roots here and he's reinvesting. And, we may actually get to sit down with this dude. And I would never have that opportunity if it wasn't for networking.
Yeah.
The people, the businesses we're buying, they're not responding to ads.
Yeah.
It's word of mouth through business owners and other entrepreneurs and people that I've helped and going, oh, well, you want to sell? Well, you need to go talk to my friend Harrison.
That's right.
What was that? Huh? I don't want to say it on camera. Justin Waller. Yeah.
Well, and you saw that, I think we talked about
He hangs out with the Tate brothers.
Yeah. We talked about this a few weeks ago about 50 Cent. He just, I know the realtor that just sold him a bunch of stuff in Shreveport.
Sack of shit. Should have been us.
Yeah.
It's gonna be May.
That is so not 50 Cent.
No, that was insane.
I was like, but how did...
But imagine this.
That's ADHD moment right there.
In sync duet. It'd have been badass. In the club with Justin Timberlake. Come on.
Justin, maybe, but not in sync. What? No. I'm Justin. I'm not in
I
sync.
walked into a real estate office the other day, and they had In Sync Christmas album on, and I was like, y'all know what's up. And she started laughing because she knew what I was about to say. And I said, Mariah Carey's trash. Yeah. Like, the In Sync album is better than Mariah Carey album.
Those are probably fighting words. I do think this is funny, so that they were talking about uniting a whole generation by just one word, and they just started with
Chestnuts roasting on open fire.
No. It's was it I think it was It's Gonna Be... No. It was...
It's Gonna Be May.
Oh, gosh. Now, y'all can cut this because I forgot what it was, but it was hilarious because I was like, look, we all knew immediately what it was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you for your story.
Let's cut all that. There was no that was an ADHD moment. So, we have been talking a long time now.
Have we?
So, yeah, it's... I feel like it has.
No. We're probably at an hour right now. No. You tired with me already? Are you pulling a me from last week? Last week, I was over here like, I didn't sleep the night before. It was bad. I pulled another one of those this week. I went to bed at 8 o'clock one night this week, and then I woke up at 3.
I was fixed to say, but 8 o'clock's not, that's, you go to sleep early.
I do, but I Gummy at 9:30, in bed at 10, asleep by 10:30. That's a normal night for me, and then wake up in between 5:30 and 6.
Yeah. Now, and you said 8. It would have been like somebody that stayed up till midnight. You were like a big deal. This is 2 hours.
I woke up at 3, which is it's actually like 7 hours of sleep, right? Mm-hmm. Except for then I couldn't it's 3 o'clock and I'm wide fucking awake.
Yeah.
So I tried to lay back down.
It's a sign of old age too.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So I stayed up until I went through my morning routine, and I stayed up till 7, and then I crashed.
Yeah.
So then I fall asleep, and I wake up at 8:40, which is the tail end of our accountability call in the morning. I didn't turn my camera on. I was one of those no camera people, the no camera club.
Did they call you out?
No. Anyway, yeah. So I get on there, and then I just said, and I couldn't hear the sleep in my voice. I was just trying to be present. And I said what I was going to do for the day. And then I get a text from one of the guys on the team. He's like, you all right, brother? You didn't sound normal. I said, man, I woke up at 3, stayed up till 7, and then I crashed. I said, I literally woke up 30 seconds before I started speaking.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was fun. What else is going on this week? Oh, did we talk about the Hawaii trip?
No, we just said that you were going to be out of town.
Yeah. So I'm super duper excited. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii's pretty cool.
Yeah, never been.
That sand.
Yeah, never been. Super excited about it. But I'm hopping on a plane here in, what's today? The 21st?
So 9 days?
8 days.
8 days?
No. It'll be 9 days. Then I'm driving to Dallas. I'm eating at Nobu that night, the night before I take off on the plane. If you've never had Nobu, definitely save up your bank account and just go.
Hit it in Dallas.
And bless your life. You'll be. The bill is egregious, but it is an experience like no other. The freshest fish you will ever taste in your life. The best sushi you have ever had. A5 Wagyu, cooked right in front of you. It's freaking amazing. I love it. So going to do that and then hopping on a plane to Hawaii the next day. Going to spend 9 days in Hawaii. I am looking forward to. I intend to work early in the morning, every morning,
right,
for 2 to 4 hours.
Well, the cool part about, because Hawaii's time zone, like when I was in Hawaii, I did like coaching calls in the morning, and so by the time I'd taken my mom with me, and that was the first time she was on a plane and went to a beach and all this, and we went like
I forget. I'm going to be like, what is that, 3 or 4 hours?
So I was able to get up at almost like my regular time, do those, and by the time like everybody else was up at like, I don't remember, 8 or 9 or whatever, and then I had my whole day. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I intend to work like 2 to 4 hours a day, just make sure everything's good, answer anybody's calls that needs me.
Yeah.
But I've already got hikes planned, a luau planned. Really looking forward to luau.
The luau's super cool.
Yeah. One of my attorneys was a JAG lawyer in Hawaii for 5 years, and so he was just. I mean, he sent me shout out Daniel Cummins and Fitz, Divorce and Family. But he shot me like, hey, he's like, these are all my favorite spots. Yeah. Here's where I used to live. Here's the neighborhood. He's like, try to stay right here. Here's the best beach. It's super underrated. Not a lot of people. And then just like really giving me all the insider stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have I'm a Dave Ramsey ELP. And so one of my the people in my mastermind group, he is a top realtor in Maui. Dude sells like 50, 60 houses a year in Maui. For those of you who don't know,
they have kind of a little bit of a high price range.
Yeah, the average, I think his average price point's like 1.5. That's his average.
Yeah. Well, that's when we were there, and this would have been 2018, 19, something like that. And we legit had, you have the app, and you're seeing what the properties are for sale and that type of thing, and like a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And I'm exaggerating maybe, but they were like $1 million, 800,000. It was like this tiny, like it was
near
crazy.
the beach, not on the beach, near the beach, 800,000, easy.
What?
Double wide trailers.
Yeah. What is really cool though in Hawaii is nobody actually owns the beach. So if you have a house on the beach, it may not be cool for the person that has a house on the beach.
All public beaches.
Yeah, you can just walk right in there, right there, and you're on the beach. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So you'll have lots of fun.
I'm finding myself eerily attracted to beaches these days. Maybe that's a teaser for things to come.
I think we should have at least one short podcast while you're there with the beach in the background.
Do like a StreamYard.
Yeah.
I could do that. I'd be down. So I think I'm gonna have to get a StreamYard thing anyway, especially if my beach dreams come true. Yeah. You are lucky I can't afford a beach house right now. I called Susie, so I was in Destin. And I called Susie, and I was actually looking at a house. And I said, what kind of down payment do I have to have? She told me.
Like, yeah, maybe.
Like FHA and like minimum down payments don't exist there. Like you're putting down 20 to 30% in those price points, no options.
Yeah.
And then I also like found out that there's two kinds of housing there. So especially if you're in like a condo unit, are the majority of them for homeowners or the majority of them for rentals?
That's right.
If it's rentals, if the majority of the multi-unit complex are rentals, then your financing, it goes to more of a commercial financing. Even if you're buying it to live in it, it doesn't matter. And so, I learned a lot while I was there. I also learned they have like a Louisiana style contract and then a Florida contract. Super weird that you have two different contracts that you can use. And it's largely around the inspection period, which is treated differently. They pre-establish their minimums for.
Oh yeah. A lot of states do that.
Yeah, I'd never seen that. I had seen Texas's, which I didn't think had that.
Well, anywhere can do that, but a lot of places that is the norm to say we'll do our inspections, and you're agreeing that if we find something up to this amount, like you're
You're saying yes without a question.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So that was cool and confusing at the same time. But you know the biggest thing that I got out of that trip, and I'm not gonna say I've conquered Monroe because that's absolutely not true. But I will say this that I have climbed in the real estate world as high as anyone's ever climbed. The highest anyone's ever climbed, I've climbed it in Northeast Louisiana. And it's a lot less. So if you don't know me really well, then it's not really about money for me. It's about competition and winning. It's what I enjoy doing.
And learning new things and
new challenges and new mountains to climb. And I got there and I was like, here's a mountain I've never climbed. Here's a price point I've never played in. Here's a group of people that I'm not on their level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even playing in their sandbox yet. And like, I kind of want to play in their sandbox. I want to see if I'm good enough. I want to see if I have the skills to go win at the highest levels.
Market. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's been a consideration. I'm not leaving Monroe, guys. My house is staying right here. My principal primary residency is staying right here. I got 2 kids. I ain't going nowhere. But I do love to hire people.
That's right. That's
Big
right.
fan.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the world is a smaller place than it's ever been, right? You know, between driving and flying, you can be somewhere like very quickly. Yeah.
The wonderful thing about this is that I can teach from Monroe, Louisiana in real time in Florida, in Alaska, in China. Might be like a 1-second delay in China, but hey, I can still teach, right? AI can, I'm recording this on this new Claude pen that I got. And it will actually translate to any language. It's transcribing us right now. It's going to mind map our entire thing. I can send these out. I can take this and put it into ChatGPT and tell it to make me a PowerPoint presentation and send it to my VA in the Philippines and tell her to illustrate it for me and then teach whatever things that we talked about on this. Now, I obviously wouldn't teach anything we talked about because there were so many great medical opinions that you guys got today.
Yeah.
I mean, you are definitely going to come out healthier for sure. But it's just really, really cool what you can do with digital technology. Today.
Technology's changed our world. I think back, again, growing up, you read like Lewis the Moore books, and you think about whenever they went west.
Mm-hmm.
They legit went west going, I'm never going to see these people again. Even if I don't die, right? Because a lot of people died. But it's not like you could just go home, right? It was months and months, or people from, Europe coming here on a boat, and months and months. And you think,
it's like, if you lived, you're never going home.
Yeah. You're probably never going to see those people again. And maybe you can send a letter if there's letter carriers and stuff like that. And now we can legit, again, my nephew is now living in France, and then he came home for Christmas. And, it's just crazy that's even I've been all over the world, and I'm thinking, I'm from Columbia, Louisiana. I was in my 20s before I ever got on a plane, and then I've been to Southeast Asia and Africa, and and you just go
you got stuck in China.
Yeah.
No,
I've been on the Great Wall of China. It's so crazy.
As Joe Summerscales will say, we're living in the future.
That's right.
No, we really are. If you think about it, there's a computer transcribing us and that will summarize everything into bullet points for us that will translate it into any language on the planet. This video that we're doing right now, how cool is this? Yeah. We can put it online, and someone in China can translate that into Chinese for me, and then they can actually watch this. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what a human mind has done over time.
When especially my favorite, I'm a big fan of Nate Bargatze, comedian, and he's hilarious. And I very much agree with him on this. He said, you have all this stuff today, but I don't know how any of it actually works. He said, the bad part is even if you I traveled back in time. And I was like, oh, but let me, I'll go ahead and create all this stuff so I'll be, famous and rich. I'd be like,
I know how to use it, but I don't know how to create it. I don't know how it works.
They would burn
what is in this thing?
Yeah, they would burn me at stake as a witch, or just being an idiot. Because I'd be like, oh, no, you can talk on this thing to over here. But I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, how do you transmit that across radio waves?
There's satellites. I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. But it's really cool stuff. So I'm super happy that people smarter than me have created this stuff for us.
That's right. So if you want this message to go further and wider, subscribe,
share.
Do
Tell
all
us
the
what you
things.
want us to talk about.
Yeah.
Give us some.
I
give
will
us some
get you
insights.
more unsolicited medical advice if that's what you would like. I mean, I could, we can talk about it.
Yeah,
We can,
maybe we shouldn't.
huh? I mean, someday somebody can get sued. I'm like, I came off my depression meds because Harrison told me to.
Yeah,
he told me
that's
I
not what
was.
he said.
He told me I was weak and pathetic.
Yeah,
And then
that's not what he said.
I came off of it and committed a double homicide. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, that's not.
Well, okay, don't do that. That's
Always seek
awful.
medical advice
Yeah, from a real doctor,
from a real doctor.
not
Yes.
Harrison, who's
Or
self-prescribing himself.
that's right. Or internet doctors. My mom. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, those people. And I love YouTube, obviously. But after,
Did she WebMD her own diagnoses?
well, not just WebMD, but she only believes it if it's like the craziest, most randomest, like all the stuff. And I'm like,
I think I've got mesothelioma.
no, well, no, it's only like, and I say that it's only like everything that, and again, some of it is factual, right? Like, but, but if it, which my mom's 75, she only wants to like, if it was something that is how they treated medicine in, the early 1900s, that's the way. She's like, oh, that's the best way. I'm like, yeah, we live long. And again, I'm not saying that everything doctors are, is right either. But I'm like, we live longer now than we ever have. And back in the day,
I think we're actually regressing in the U.S. right now.
Are we?
Mm-hmm. I do not know that factually. That was a report that I read.
Okay.
I don't have a source.
Yeah.
But it said that we're actually our life expectancy is.
I don't know.
Slightly,
It's still average of 75 years.
And I believe it was. I want to say it was. What is it? Robert Kennedy? Is that his name? The Democrat that switched Republican and got on the Trump campaign.
Yeah, but
I want to say that he said it, assuming that is he's quoting someone smarter than all of us.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That our life expectancy has actually dipped in the U.S.
Politicians make stuff up.
Sometimes, most of the time, maybe.
Okay. Now I did Google National Center for Health Statistics (CDC). They did say
Boom.
life expectancy in the U.S. declined 1.5 years in 2020.
I am right.
1.5 years, but that's from 2019.
1.5 years. That's a lot on average.
That was the lowest level since 2003.
That's like 300 million years lost in American lives. How many lives is that?
The drop in life expectancy in 2020, but 2020 was like COVID and everything. It was the largest 1-year decline since World War II, when life expectancy declined 2.9 years between 1942 and 43.
But are you blaming this on COVID?
No, I'm saying, well, the fact that they did the study in 2020 is what I'm talking about.
Well, that 2020 would have been the census year, right? Wait, why didn't we have a census this year? No, it's every 10 years. Census is every 10 years, isn't it? Yeah. Census is every 10 years. So the next one will be 2030, I assume. Yeah. So we won't know our 10 over 10 for another 6 years. 5 years.
Yeah. See, like it's the decline in life expectancy between 2019 and 2020 can primarily be attributed to the deaths from the pandemic, contributed to nearly three-fourths. So I'm
or
not
the
going to
jab. Okay, let's get on something here.
Yeah, no, we're not going to go there. That's a whole.
Did you take the jab?
I did the first one.
Oh.
But I was
very risque of you.
Yeah, I was going somewhere that I had to do it. But that's
I would have done it.
But that's the thing is everybody. It's funny. Like I don't
take the jab.
Yeah.
Did you take the jab? You
Yeah.
jabbers. I'm the only non-jabber in the room.
That's like, but it's so funny. Like I love how everybody thinks. So like, okay,
young people, the spike in young people with cardiovascular events. Come on.
That's all bullshit. That's like the same thing. At one time, everybody was like, oh my God, all the time, there's so many more left-handers. It's because we started letting
part of the fucking
I'm saying going way back, because every time something new happens, we blame it on something. So,
Huh? I'm left-handed.
Yeah. But used to, they would tie your hand back and not
My grandmother told me stories about she used to get...
And she would take a pencil on my left hand and put it in my right hand. So I'll write my right hand.
That's right. And so people, but then people will be like, oh, see you. And I'm like, no, people didn't all of a sudden become left-handed. They were always left-handed. You just now let them be left-handed. But this is my thing. So with all that going on with COVID.
I still think the jab's bad.
Well, it may or may not be. I'm saying I'm not. I don't have the knowledge to make that decision. What I do know is
I'm alive. That's my knowledge.
But Andy almost died from it. My brother, from
the video?
COVID. Like, and he's in his 50s. You know, like now he died of bad health, but he almost died. Like ICU, the whole bit. Now with that said, we have my mom. Everybody's like, well, you don't know what's in it. We don't know what's in anything. My mom goes to MD Anderson for her cancer treatment.
Full of jam.
It's all kind of stuff. And I'm like, look,
Like radioactive.
I'm like, we're going to trust them to give you that. And it has helped her. I said, then whatever that particular doctor says, I'm going to go with it. Forget this. And whenever it was for, so I'm like, to me, we all need to quit making decisions like we know what the heck we're talking about. Go talk to your doctor. Go, because they may say do it or don't, and fine. Yeah. But whoever you trust to, like, I'm going to go to you.
I don't know that I trust doctors.
But
they definitely, it has been proven. It is a proven fact that they get bonuses based on how many people they give the jab to. Proven fact.
My doctor didn't. Mama's doctor didn't. I don't know about every doctor. That may have been Walgreens.
This came
like
from
Walgreens probably got.
This came from a medical professional's child. Their father said,
that you understand that's hearsay and would not work in a court of law.
Hold on, are you Lincoln lawyering me right now? Sure, she watched Lincoln Lawyer recently.
Somebody's dad said blah blah. What I'm saying is, look,
this dad is over hospitals. He's over hospitals.
If I want to add, if I'm gonna,
and his wife is a medical professional.
If I have questions about real estate,
that's hearsay.
You didn't hear it from them. You heard it from the son. That's what makes.
Would you like me to call the doctor?
So my thing is if I want real estate advice, I'm gonna go to you.
Yeah, the general consumer goes to their cousin down the road that sold one house their whole life. Now, like, what do you think about my price? Your agent just lowballed me.
And are you not doing the same with a doctor?
No, I will actually call a doctor if I really want a medical opinion.
That's what my thing is. So, like, that's all I'm saying is go to the person. Now, not all doctors. Go to the one that you trust, right? Just like I'm not going to go to any agent. I'm going to go to the agent that has a track record. I'm going to go to Harrison, right?
Yeah, so that she can argue with me.
But if, so to me, go to the person that's what they specialize in. And not just any of them, but go to the one that you trust. And I trusted Mama's doctors for her.
We're going to the one that buys into my ideology.
Most of us do. Confirmation bias.
I'm just looking for somebody to agree with me. All right, so you can advise me as long as you agree with everything I say.
Yeah. But so that's my whole thing is, and again, that's probably my soapbox. But everybody has these big theories, and I'm like. And again, I'm like, you don't know nothing about nothing, but you want to tell people about that. Like, no, let's stay in our own lane. I don't know enough about that to say what's good or bad. I don't necessarily trust the government. I think we need a lot less government. So that's why I went to my doctor. And my doctor was like, at your age and you're this, it's up to you, but not a big deal. And then, but for this person, you probably do it. So like, it depends on a lot of factors. So.
Yeah. All right.
How did you even make us talk about it? Why did you bring old shit back up?
That's not old. People are still dying, Olivia. It's real. It's a real American crisis. All right. I think that's a great wrap-up point for us.
I think we can be done.
I think we're going to call this episode Conspiracy Theories and Unsolicited.
This is where I should have given them this is the conspiracy theory of the Golden Girls we should have thrown in here.
Oh, right. I think this is mine. I don't really have many other conspiracy theories. Unless I completely believe the U.S. government's 100% against the American people. I do. I don't think there's not a good one in the bunch. Not a one.
I disagree.
Yeah. No, I think they're all shipping us off.
I disagree. Now, I think that being in the middle of something, you don't see the whole thing. Yeah. I think for the most part, people are doing the best they can with what they know.
Even the politicians?
Yeah.
You don't think there's any devious
there
plans?
Are some, but just like in everything, you have some people that are assholes and that are out to screw people over. And I think sometimes our systems are set up a certain way that they need to be fixed, but how do you fix it and how do you this or that?
Check them all out.
Yeah, but for the most part. And I think, and then too, Americans, and bless But like we were talking, so again, my nephew was over and Mama was asking him because in France, like they have certain things in their food that they don't allow here. And people will be like, see, we shouldn't have that because, these other countries have banned it. I'm like, yeah, you try to ban something in the U.S. and we're going to be like, oh my God, you're taking away my freedom. I'm like, well, that's what they did. So like, that's where it's this whole dichotomy of all of it.
Yeah, it's a weird place.
Yeah. And it's a great place. It's just
I'm hating on America, but honestly, like,
yeah.
Is there really somewhere else I'd rather live?
There's some other places that are pretty damn cool, but I do like the U.S.
Like scenery-wise, but like
but even freedom-wise, yeah, there's freedom. There's like we do talk about. We have the most freedom. I'm like Canada has freedom. France has freedom. Europe has freedom. Lots of people have freedom.
Do you want to know what song's playing in my head right now?
What?
Is it all right? So in Shrek, is it Duloc? What's that song? I think it's Duloc. Duloc is a perfect place. Is that it?
Yeah, I've been told I can't sing on the podcast, so I don't know.
Who told you not to sing on the podcast?
You make fun of me every time I sing.
That doesn't mean I didn't say you couldn't sing. It just means I made fun of you.
Yeah,
I can't sing either. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, I should not.
You should not.
I can't carry a tune in a bucket with a lid on it. There's nothing about that.
Carry a tune in a bucket with a lid on it.
Nope.
Woo, somebody was raised in Colombia.
Yes.
Well, all right. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
Merry Christmas.
We've made some plans. We are going to start releasing this podcast.
We actually have,
like clockwork.
That's right. And we actually have some people. Of course, Connor's been helping us. He's been amazing. Thank you, Connor. And we have some other gentlemen that is our other people, other studios, things that's going to help us. I know Gavin's name. I was getting there. I was going to talk about your studio first, but
that's going to happen.
And
well,
Gavin's with us today as well.
So
we already wrapped up. We can't say
Three Bridges Studios is going to be opening soon. Gavin is the videographer that's going to be in there helping us out. Connor's going to be involved. It's going to be great. We got sound engineers, all the freaking equipment in the world. I am told, I don't know this for a fact because it's not my world, just told from the people who basically spend a lot of money.
So what I'm hearing you say is you went to somebody that was a specialist in that.
I went to somebody who knows more than I know, which is pretty much everything in my life.
That's right.
I'm not the smartest. I just hire people smarter than me.
Yep.
It's going to be great. We're supposed to have the nicest sound studio. And it will be, at some point, it will be the best video studio as well. It's in between Nashville and Dallas. Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I'm told. So really, really looking forward to letting these gentlemen use their talents to make us look and sound better. And then as you notice, our stuff evolve. That's what you can do too. And you can just plug and play straight into this model. And we'll help you out. And you can also, if you're a subscriber to the building, which the R2 building is now for rent, we have offices and suites available. Olivia will, there's some special discounts available with business coaching. She's going to take a penny off per month.
That's right.
Because she's very, very generous. And if you guys don't know what a business coach can do for your life, you need to give it a try. You making too much money, but you want to make more, or you want some time back and keep making the same amount of money, go talk to Olivia.
That's right.
If you like my lifestyle and you like what's happened with me, I couldn't do stuff like that without cool people like her in my life. So she is worth it, and you should give her a holler. She says a lot less whenever she's just in the grinding it out with you.
That's right. And yes.
And you.
All right. On that note, let's see if we can do it again.
Let's go. That was good. Yes.